So this final script for this menu effect is actually going to become quite a serious little deal here. I figured the only way I can organize it, I'll try to make some notes of the steps I want to go through. So I'm just going to have a timer going, and then it keeps checking the time against each one of these effects being driven. So I'm going to have to create an enum of all these effects too. So let's do that. Okay, so enum, this is the lose menu state. And let's just store that in our current state. Lose menu state. Alright, so we've got scene loaded, and then we've got enemy appear. After he appears, we want enemy disappear. And after he disappears, static go red, and then static fade away, and then we have the show menu. I think I'm going to have the show menu when the static goes red. That's what I'm going to bring. As the static fades away, I'm going to put the menu items back there. So after static fade away, let's just say idle. It's on standby. No, waiting for input. That's what it's going to be doing. Waiting for input. Okay, so we have an enum. We can run an enum in the update now. Switch case. Switch on the current state. Case. Lose menu state dot. Let's just build the whole thing first, and then I'll fill in all the values. How many have I got? Enemy appears going to be happening straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 4 really. So lose menu state, enemy appear. See if auto complete's not going to work. Lose menu state, enemy disappear. Yes, thank you. Static go to red. Static go away. Now, how do I change in between these states? Now I'm gonna need a lot more variables. Variable. It's gonna be timers. Variable enemy appear time. 1.2, let's say. Enemy appear time. What other states we got? Static go red time. That'll happen in like half a second. And then the static fade away time. Yeah, go red and then disappear at the same rate. Probably too fast. So I just need one for the enemy, his move distance, how fast he moves over time. Enemy appear speed. Probably not going to be much, 0.1 over 12 seconds. Okay, so what's happening here? Okay, as the scene is loaded, let's set the current state to equal enemy appear. Okay, so first update, we're in the enemy appear. Now what do we want the enemy to do when he appears? We want him to move forwards. I need a timer here. Alright. So let's initialize that to timer. Okay, then each update we're going to be incrementing the timer. Just write the conditions in now. As the timer increments each time, and we move on to the next thing. Timer is greater than the enemy appear time. Okay, timer is greater than the enemy appear time. Let's reset the timer. And then we change the state. Current state is then going to equal enemy disappeared. Okay, that's going to happen over a single frame. So what else? Static go red, that's got a timer. And static fade away has a timer too. So static go red time. Timer is greater than static go red time, and then we want to go to static fade away. And when we finish the static fade away time, just setting it to wait for inputs. At this point in time, it's going to be idle, and that's going to throw it in to do nothing. So yeah, static fade away before that happens. Show the menu items. So I'll do a function to do all that. Show menu items becomes true. Okay, so what have we got so far? We start the scene, we go to enemy appear, and there's this timer running. At this point, we're going to move enemy forward at rate of enemy appear speed. Move the enemy forward, and then the timer's going up. If the timer goes past it, he's moved forward. Enemy disappears. So enemy disappear. Move enemy far away. Let's just do it behind the camera. Behind the camera is good enough. And then we're going to change the state. We've got a reference to the enemy object. Static object, we don't have a reference to the enemy object. So enemy object of type transform. We just want to transform its position. So move the enemy forward. Enemy object local. Look, I started one function and I started writing another one. Dot z plus equals enemy appear speed times time dot delta time. The whole point of doing it is like this: is we can muck around with it in the inspector and then just change all these times and speeds in the inspector to get the effects looking right. We'll do it all in code. Then we can just muck around with the variables to make it happen. Enemy object local position that equals minus, let's just say minus 10. So he should be 10 units behind the camera when he disappears. So just disappear. And then we change the state. Current state to static go red. I'm going to have to work out all this static changing color and fading out like I did before. Let's just see if I've really broken something. Nothing appears broken. So let's just hit play and see what happens. Enemy object. I haven't found it. I haven't set up script to find it in case I didn't have it. If no enemy object, no enemy object in the inspector. Enemy object equals and the transform component. Yes. And what did I call him? He's just called Golem. Let's see if that fixed it. Clear title. Let's look at all this populate. And he moved backwards. And the main menu stuff came up. And it's all happening way too quickly. 2.5. Now, he moved away from the camera, I did see that, so I've gone plus equals, yeah, minus equals. Alright, so 2.5, and let's just say for 1 second, even on all these effects. Save that scene. There it comes through, and then disappears, and then the menu comes up. Still way too quickly without all this fading stuff happening. Why is that happening so quick? Go red. Where did I not reset the timer? Enemy disappear. The time is still time delta time. That's only 1 frame. Alright, let's just put the timer. Reset the timer. Just to be sure. Okay, then we go to static goes red, and the time is going up. Then we show the menu items, then go to static fade away. And the static is behind the buttons. I wanted the static to fade away and reveal the buttons. That's what I wanted to do. So at some point in time I'm going to have to move the static forward as well. Okay. Play. So we just lost. And it's coming through way too slowly and it disappears. So that's 0.3. Yeah. 0.5, 1.5 seconds like I originally had. I want it to be a pop scare. It's probably too close. Okay, well let's make it 2.5, speed of 1. Let's push him back a little bit further. That's what I want. But something was going really wrong there. That's a second too long. Title 0.5. And it looks terrible, doesn't it? Okay, what if I move further away and make it faster still? Let's just go 0.5. Okay, kinda good, kinda good. Okay, getting there. Yeah, that's that's pretty good. That impressed me actually. Move them up a little bit. Okay. Not bad, but you get the idea. We're only mucking around, having fun here. Not writing any AAA title stuff. Okay, so and then static go red. Static. What did I'm gonna have to cheat. Go back off here. Get a fade amount and apply it. Let's just copy it. Fade amount float equals call it timer divided by static go red time. And then we want to say the static object dot material dot color, and this time I am going to be modifying the color, equals color. I'm not going to modify the alpha, so we'll leave that alone. How do I fade from white to red? What are the colors? Red is 100, and we're starting off. Where's white? White is 111, so I want to fade the B and the G channels down to make it go red. Alright, well let's see, let's just do that. So blue equals, this is going to go from 0 to 1, so it's 1.0 minus fade amount. And then red, blue, green, fade that to 0, 2. Do I set material color alpha? We do want it to white. Let's just leave it and see if we can get this part working. So it appears, disappears, and it goes red. That's what we're up to. Appears, disappears, fades. Oh, I like it. I like it. Probably comes too far forward. No, I like it. Let's leave it. Okay, and then for the last timer, we just want the static to fade away. So the same thing again. Let's happened there? Let's copy all that again, and this is the static fade away time. And now we are modifying the alpha, and we want it to go from 1 to 0. Alpha. That tells you absolutely nothing. Okay, so they're solid 1, so we are going to 0. So from 1 to 0, so material alpha. Okay, that should all be set in place. All that should absolutely be working. Already local, but yeah, I have done that, haven't I? I've called it variable fade amount. Let's declare it up here, so I can use it in different switches. Okay, so it's declared already, so I can use it in 2 different places because it's already declared. Thank you. Alright, so pop in, go red, should fade away. Okay, it all happens too quick, and I want the buttons behind the static effect. So after he disappears, can I move the static object forward to enemy disappear? So static object, local position Z. The static object transform. Enemy disappear. Move the static. No, I'm doing it in the wrong place, aren't I? Okay. Before we show the menu items, let's move the static forward of the buttons. Now that's going to error. It's not going to error. Hopefully. What is the fade object's local position? 0.6. Really close. Static object dot transform dot local position. Well, I do want to change the local scale because since you insist, I want to make it smaller too. So it was what 0.2 on the X, 1 on the Y, 0.15 on the Z. Alright, transform local. local position, that's what I was doing, equals 0.6, local position dot z equals 0.6, and then change the scale. So that should be all in front of the buttons. After he disappears, it should move the static in front of the buttons, so as the static fades out, you see the buttons, not before. Save the scene. He comes through, bang, goes red, starts to fade away, and it all happens too quickly, but it's happening. Alright, so the fade times. Let's just go 2 seconds for the fade, 2 seconds for go red. Lovely. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's save the scene. Like I said, it's no AAA stuff, but hey, it works. Enemy appearance time is 1.5 now. 2. Go red. 2 for the fade away. And 1.5 the enemy speed. I think I should just put him back a little bit further. A little close. Let's try that. Yep, that's it. That's exactly what I wanted to do in this video and show you guys how to do. So there it is there. We've got the awesome little effect there that I think people want. So if you lose, pops forward, like how it goes red, and fades out, we hit the main menu, fade out, main menu,